Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back again to another session about ZBrush and jewelry. My name is Nacho Riesco and I will be here sculpting with you during the next 2 hours as usual. So making jewelry with ZBrush. And welcome. Thanks a lot to everybody who are watching the stream now, the live. And as I said before, now it's time to making jewelry with ZBrush. Let me check the stream camera. Looks like everything is working fine. And maybe the music it's a bit loud, maybe. Let me know, or tell me if my voice sound is good enough for you on your side. And welcome again. So welcome Chris, welcome Warrior, Maddie on YouTube, welcome everybody, and let's go. Let's start the sculpting. Okay, looks like everything is working fine. Hey Andres, welcome, and today is going to be the last day for this design. So I started the design, this pendant, 4 streamings ago. Today is the 5th, if I remember well. So today is going to be the last one. So today we're going to talk about the assembling process, because I have been working on it during the week. I made some progress since my latest streaming, so I will show you what I did. If you have any questions, as usual, comments, suggestions during the streaming, you can write your question on the chat, your comments. I will try to pay as more attention as possible to the chat, to read your comments, and hope you like it. I hope you enjoy the next 2 hours of sculpting this design. Hey Fexter, welcome again as usual. Thanks, amigo. Yeah, this is the second time this month that I'm here streaming. This is not usual, because I used to stream only once a month, but in August, here now it's summertime, maybe I have a little bit more time, so that's the reason why I am again on my second day of August, making a new stream. As I said before, this is going to be the last streaming about this design. Thanks, Kevin. I'm glad you like it, this design. And to all of you who didn't watch my previous streamings, I am making this design based on this sketch I did. The idea comes from different illustration from different artists. Here you can read their names. I found this beautiful illustration where the inspiration from where the idea came from. This panther, you can see almost the shape of the panther is almost the same. I also found this illustration from Major Felton, where I love this the grass on the background. Those two yellow islands are going to mimic or are going to replicate something like a grass. Of course, it is not finished yet. I will explain to you later. And also I found this kind of Art Deco illustration from Nicolas Gaetano. And you can see more or less the feeling and the style of the design came from this 3 illustration mixed with a very well-known product from Cartier, that were a very well-known jewelry brand, which is famous for its panthers design. You can see here many panthers on their designs, and I tried to replicate or to based the panther style from the very famous Cartier panthers. You can see here many different illustration I'm sorry jewelry examples. And also about the pattern on the background, I replicate this pattern I found on Pinterest on the net, and I replicate it in ZBrush. I love the way it looks, so that's the reason why I put it on the background. And I'm gonna fill this gap, this is going to work as a pool or enamel. So that means that this gap is going to be filled with tinted transparent enamel. This is going to have a kind of bluish color on the background, so you will see it on the final render, and it is not finished yet, so we still I still have to make small touches, a small thing, but it is almost finished. I can say that it is finished at more or less 90% or 95%. Is almost finished. Today mainly I'm going to work on the stone setting, on the collar, on the necklace of the panther here on this surface and this surface, and on the corners I'm going to put the stones as well. So we will talk about how to prepare the surfaces for the stone setting. So we can go ahead. I will make a render trying to grab the idea that I have in mind, where I'm going to put silver or mainly white gold for the whole thing, for the whole body, unless these two pieces they are going to be casted in gold for having a nice contrast between the black, from the white of the frame, the yellow of the grass in gold, and the background is going to be covered with blue enamel, transparent blue enamel, where we're going to be able to see through the pattern on the background. And about the panther, I think it's going to be maybe with a kind of black metal with rhodium, or maybe in resin. I don't know. I will talk with the jewelers. Maybe they will give me better ideas about how to cast or how to replicate or how to make the panther. Okay, so let me see the chat. So we can go ahead. Maybe the cameras too. I need to put here. Today is a sunny day here in Spain, so I think it's not going to be necessary to apply an extra light. Maybe, let's see, like this. And okay, so I will show you what I did. So you can see now the whole design is composed by 48 subtools. If I turn off the light Boolean, you can see how it looks like. So the light Boolean system is making its job. When we turn this on or turn it off, we can see the differences between having the whole subtools visible and invisible when they're working as a negative subtraction. So if I open the folders, you can see that I will start showing to you step by step. So let me see. Where I am, this is the cage. Okay, let's turn off the panther, turn off the guilloche. The guilloche is this technique I was talking about before. This is the technique where you have a pattern on the background and you cover it with enamel, or with a transparent coating. This is the name of this jewelry technique, guilloche. And the glyptic technique, the glyptic is the art where you are making forms from a stone. You're carving the stone and making forms on, or sculptors carving the stone directly. Though this design were made carving stones by hand on this one or this one. Okay, when we are talking about jewelry, we need to think about the scale of the object. Maybe we are watching this picture and we are thinking that this is a very big piece, but well, most of the time, or we can say 100% of the times, when we talk about jewelry, we are talking about very tiny or small objects. So I think, in my opinion, it has even more value because it's even more difficult to carve this little panther in a small piece of material, hard material like a stone. Or depending on the kind of material, of course, you can find harder or softer materials. Okay, people are coming, questions are coming. I love to talk with you during the streaming, so I think it makes it more interesting. For work on jewelry design, ZBrush is enough. I think for me, yes, because the only tool that I use for create jewelry, or most of the job that I do, I can say 80% of the commission that I receive are about jewelry designs. I only use ZBrush. For being honest, the only different software that I use, I have been using it during my previous streamings. I was using Mesh Mixer, this little software from Autodesk, and I only use it for make the object hollow inside. But if we talk about modeling or sculpting, I only use ZBrush. So the answer for your question is yes. ZBrush is just enough for create jewelry. Is there any way to know the limitation of these jewelry designs? Is there a book or no? No, I have it. When I started years ago, I thought like you, or I was making kind of searching or asking to jewelers or people who had more knowledge in the jewelry industry, trying to find the answers to many different questions. As you said, the limitation about jewelry designs, because when you are creating jewelry objects, during the creation process and the designing process, and also during the manufacturing process, you find a lot of limitations, a lot of problems, a lot of restrictions. Of course, everything is able to be made, but during the designing process, it's very important to have the knowledge to avoid those problems. And the answer of your question is there isn't any book or any guide who can solve all of your questions. The only answer is the experience, and to try to know or try to meet as more goldsmiths or silversmiths or jewelers, for being able to ask as many questions as possible. So from the answer you are able to collect from the professional, you are going to start growing your knowledge and your real experience about the jewelry industry. Because even asking the same thing to two different professionals, maybe you can find different questions. So it's very difficult to find one single answer to many different questions, or to many different problems that you can find during the designing process or during the manufacturing process of a jewelry piece. Is there a good mistake? What mistake to avoid? Focus on the detail artist. I think the main mistake is I can try to make a summarize, or maybe try to find only one single big answer to your question. Is I think the big problem is when we are working on the inside of the digital world, it's very often to lose the feeling of the thing, of the product, of the object that you are creating. In terms of, for example, the size, the scale, or the weight when we are talking about jewelry. So it's very important during the designing process. If you have been watching my previous streamings, during the designing process or during the sculpting or the modeling or any modeling process, you should be worried about measurements, about thicknesses, distances, and you should be worried about the proportions and of course about the weight during the designing process. So if you are connected, you are able to be as more as possible connected to the real world during the creation process, you're going to have more success, I think. Hello, Sambora Jewelry, welcome. But it's difficult to find single answers for big questions. And the best way to find answers is trial and error. If you are making jewelry, send out your file for 3D printing and for casting and start testing what you did on the screen. So to start test what you did when you are working with different thicknesses or with different sizes, and you're going to start grabbing the feeling that you need, as I said before, connecting what you're doing inside of the digital world with the real world. You're going to start learning and connecting your knowledge with the real world at the same time that you are creating something digitally, not physically. I think when we talk about jewelry, the barrier between the digital and the real world, it's in some cases is very difficult to learn, but and the best way to find answers is to start printing, casting, and checking what you did on the computer. ADNC, hello, can I do this texture dragon button on your thing? I can use well, let me read your question. Hello, how can I do this texture? What texture are you referring? Dragon's bottom. And do you think I can use the same texture for any snake? I'm not. Maybe your stream. Which do you mean? One of my previous streamings, where I was creating a snake design. Maybe, because if you are interested on my previous streamings, I will give you a link. Let me find it. Where I have here, I think already you know this website, the link tree. I'm gonna copy this link. Here you will find my YouTube channel. This is a collection of all of my links. I will put it on the chat, so you will find me on many places. If you go to my YouTube channel, Parks, let me make this a little bit bigger. Just scroll down. Here we have my ZBrush live streams. Here you will find the collection, all of the whole list of all of my previous streamings. Maybe you were talking about, let me scroll down, maybe about this, when I was creating a snake ring, and I was creating this, using this technique for create the scales on the surface, maybe. So the question is, you can use this technique for a dragon. The answer is yes, you can use the same technique. So using the process is create a seamless image for being applied as an alpha through the surface noise system inside of ZBrush. So you will be able to apply scales to a dragon, snakes, to many different applications. Where's the best place to share your artworks and how to share them to maybe find some customer for your work? I think, yeah, maybe the answer is everywhere. You should be posting your works on ArtStation, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Behance, on as many places as possible. Based on my experience, there isn't any one single place where I find more clients than others. So many clients from many different sites. So I think maybe the key could be try to post a specific work into a specific group. For example, we talk about Facebook, try to post your jewelry work, try to find groups related for jewelry design and start posting your jobs there instead of start posting everything everywhere. Just try to be focused on, if I'm making characters, try to find a good place, a good group inside of Facebook for posting my character work. Or for example, if we talk about Instagram, try to use the proper hashtags for your work. For example, if you are posting characters, try to use the hashtag character design, concept art, and those kind of concepts to be more visible on the community, because today the community is growing and growing. A lot of people are using internet. It's not like, for example, 10 years ago when you can find more people today, because the algorithms of the different places like Instagram or even Facebook is even more difficult for being exposed. But the answer is try to post your work into as many places as possible. We can say the main community is ArtStation, but ArtStation is more focused about video games or film industry. But maybe LinkedIn and Facebook, you can find more specific professionals. If we talk about the jewelry business, you will find more professionals through LinkedIn or Facebook, and you can have a very big range of different people on Instagram. I think that's my personal opinion. You are welcome. You are welcome. That keeper. A Fexter, Nacho, do you like to wear jewelry or it doesn't? No. Yeah, to wear. Yeah, no, I don't like it. Yeah, to wear jewelry. I don't like it, and I'm not a jewelry user because maybe I understand the jewelry or all of this. The way the kind of jewelry that I like is more like small sculptures, small pieces of art. Is there you can find them more in a museum than wearing on a be on a person. But maybe that's the reason why I'm not a very jewelry user personally to wear rings or pendants or whatever. Hi, Bikram. And I was talking before about this because I will show you. This is the what I call. Let me turn this off. This is going to be the cage. The cage is the box. The box that I said before is it looks like a box, like a pool, where it will be covered with transparent enamel. It will be covered here. So I mean, this is, we have this wall. This is the reason why this will be covered by blue enamel for having the guilloche effect that I was talking about before. And this is the cage, and this is the background. And so the backside, you can see on the backside, the backside of the main values, they are hollow inside because I'm gonna try to make it as lighter as possible in terms of weight. You know, the weight is very important when we are creating jewelry, and even more if we have planned to cast the piece in gold. So the weight is going to be even more important because the gold is very expensive. And if we are thinking about to cast this piece in gold, this is, if we start taking measurements, you know, the first step to take is going to the scale master, plug in, and first step set the scene scale. So we are going to tell to ZBrush on which unit we are going to work. So we're going to go in millimeters, and this is, so ZBrush now knows now that this scene units is millimeters. So you need to use the transpose to start taking measurements. This is from the highest point till the lowest point. This is 37 millimeters tall. If I have here my caliper, this the one thing that I said before, try to stay connected with the real product. This is 35, 37. This is going to be this big. Okay, we put it on my chest. You can see how big is this. So it is on a small piece. If we talk about jewelry, it's not a very big. It's something that's realistic. And from side to side is around 31 millimeter. Is around this big. So this will be this when we are hanging this on the chest will be this big. So because if I say this looks a little bit bigger if I closer to the camera, but if I put it the distance on my chest, you can see it is at a small piece. So even it is on a small piece, it's going to be necessary to make it as lighter as possible to hollowing out all the possible volumes. So that's the reason why I have this. You can see here, this is the negative shape who is subtracting the necessary. I'm gonna put this here for having more screen. So this is going to be thinner. So, and I'm seeing here a kind of problem. No, I think there's not going to be a problem. And this little gaps that I have here, it's because on the back, this is the front, this is going to be the front, this is going to be the back. On the back, to make things beautiful, also on the back, it's very common in jewelry to put back. Sometimes I don't know how to call this, depending on the kind of thing you are talking about. With they're used to be known as galleries. This is the reason why here you find here a folder called gallery. If I turn this on, this is the gallery. It's like a cover that you are putting on the back of the design to cover the thing that you don't want to be visible. So you see, because if I turn this off, you see the effect on the background looks a little bit not beautiful. So we apply an extra piece. This is the gallery, and the gallery is going to be soldered on this joining points. So that's the reason why. And this is the design of the gallery, of the back cover. The back cover, as I have tried to don't make it completely solid. That's the reason why it looks like a net or an open work when we have a lot of open spaces. Another reason of making things as lighter as possible, even if this is going to be around less than 1 millimeter thick. This is a very thin foil of metal, but with this kind of engravings on the back. This is all of the pieces are going to be printed, or maybe are going to be milled. I don't know. Maybe this is the main two ways that we have. Once we have our STL file ready for production, we can send it to a 3D printer, or we can send it to a CNC machine. So the design, it's going to be able to be printed or milled. There isn't any music. Let's put some music. Okay. So I Fexer, Bhupender Sharma, hi, welcome. Hi Samir, Badui, welcome. More people are coming. Fexer, I love collect miniature sculptures. I like how they solve scale challenges on. Yes. I was when I was young, I was painting and collecting figures and miniatures. And maybe that's the reason why today, this is the reason why I love to create jewelry, because it's more or less connected to the miniature or the scale figure industry. When we, even more if we're creating organic designs where we are making animals or human beings or flowers. So the connection between the jewelry and the miniature work, this maybe is the main reason why I'm working on the jewelry industry. And then hi Micas, I'm looking to make a 3D printed mold for casting silicone resin, specifically for a phone case that has a grip on the back. Should advise on the best approach to achieve this. Okay, let me read the question. I'm looking to make a 3D printed mold. Yeah, so if I understood well, your question. So you are about to print the mold, and you're gonna pour silicone inside to make the positive, right? So you are, instead of printing the positive, the product, you are thinking about printing the mold. Regards to silicone, because okay, I think the better advice that I can give you is to try to find a printer who is going to be able to print big pieces, or is going to have enough surface on the bed for printing the size that you are looking for. And also try to find a printer who is using a cheap resin, because you're gonna print a big piece of material, so the printing is gonna be very expensive. If not, maybe in your case, I have been watching this method before, where the people is printing the mold instead of the positive, instead of the main volume. And I think the best way to approach that is try to find a good filament or printer instead of a resin printer. But it has a lot of sense. Yes, it has sense. It has sense. I don't know how it's gonna work with when you try to remove the resin from the inside of the mold. I don't know, because the surface is, I don't know if it's going to be, of course it's going to need to be prepared, the surface, to don't have problems when you are removing the positive from the inside of the mold. But I think it has a lot of sense. I think that a lot of people are using that process, not in the jewelry industry, I think, as far as I know. But for a phone case, this could be able to make. Maybe try to find a not a very expensive printer, a filament printer, FDM printer. Yes, if you already have a FDM printer, go ahead and start making testings. I think it's going to be the best way to learn or to know how it works. You're very welcome. Do you make characters, or you are only in jewelry? I make characters in the past. Yes, I have made some characters. Also for only for printing reasons, because when we are talking about characters, we are talking about characters for reprinted as a collectible, figures, statues, and stuff like that. If I receive a commission, I don't say no to anything. So I have been making many different things, because with ZBrush, you're going to be able to create almost everything. In some cases, when you are not having enough experience about something, maybe before saying yes to the commission, is try to make a search about what you're going to need about the knowledge, or the necessary knowledge for having a success for your commission. But I'm being transparent, so talk with your customer, for the client, so you can try to looking for some help when you have a doubt. It's not very good to try to find people who knows everything about everything. So you don't know something, it's good to ask to your clients also. And I have been making some characters in the past, mainly for franchises, for Star Wars. If you go to my art station, you can see my art station is more chaotic, in terms of I have many different themes. Of course, we have the cover is related to jewelry, but because if you scroll down, you will find many different, for example, like this one. This was made for a collectible, so like this. So everything with ZBrush, you can do almost everything, all things like this. I made this for a thumb. You can see I already have some pictures here, maybe. Oh, no, not here, because this was a private commission for be carved for directly on a stone, for be put it on top of a thumb. This is a tombstone, but this is a character, right? This is another kind of, maybe it's not the kind of character that you are thinking about, or this kind of characters. Yep. When we are talking about, for example, things like this, we talk about digital sculpting, or if I consider myself maybe a digital sculptor, you are going to be able to create almost everything. I'm more focused about jewelry design, so I work more, as I said before, for the jewelry industry. I receive many commissions for jewelry, but even inside of the jewelry industry, you can receive commissions related to characters when they are looking forward to cast and to replicate a scale figure of a very well known character or person, or I don't know, many different examples. Thanks, Tornek. Women Nacho want to know, is there any particular reason to add this kind of mess at back? Yeah, the mess of the back is, as I said before, is very well known in jewelry. We call this piece the gallery, or maybe sometimes the lining. I don't know. Being honest, I don't know which is the right translation from the Spanish to this piece. It's just for adding value to the design, because the design is not only important to be beautiful on the front. We are talking about the jewelry, a very expensive product, so it's another way to add even more value to the product itself, to the design. The main design is not only on the front, and it is also on the back. And even we can add some filigrees on the border if necessary. But here, the thickness that I have here from left to right, from left to right, I have 5mm surface. Maybe in this case, it's not going to have a lot of sense to add a filigree, because this is a very thin space, and after the polishing, maybe we're going to have a kind of noisy surface instead of a flat shiny surface. In my opinion, in this case, it's going to be better to leave this flat instead of add a filigree or something on the sides. But the answer to your question, the reason why is to add more value to the job and to make it more delicate or complicated. But depending on the kind of jewelry that you are doing, some people are just leaving the back and finish it flat or whatever, or with concave, and that's it, and you don't worry about the back part. But you are about to create a beautiful piece or a very high value piece, it's going to be better to add even more work on the back. Okay, let me see if I have missed any question. No. So this is going to be the back, this is going to be the front. On the front we have the guilloche. It's going to be printed and casted, everything joined together, because the guilloche of this surface, this pattern on the back, is going to be printed as this piece. So like this, and we have the grass. They have those two pieces. This is what I call the grass. Is this? It is not still a grass, but for the grass I have this. I'm going to turn this off. I have these pins, which comes through the front surface. If I turn this on, let me show you again here. Yes, I think a mistake. I made this. Okay, you can see we're gonna have this little. I think I found here a mistake, because I need to make a copy of this, because you can see here the drill, the pattern is not being affected by this hole, so I need to make a duplicate. This is going to be very easy to fix. This the duplicate. Let's open this folder, let's move it down this till here, maybe here, and this is going to be negative. No, and this is like this. This is going to be casted like this, because the grass, as I said before, is going to be casted in a different metal. So this is going to be like this. Maybe this, I'm going to use the same color to don't be confused by this, and this is it's going to be necessary to apply RGB fill object. Okay, like this. So you are seeing through. So with the pins will be cut here and will be soldered here. We are going to have 2 soldering points for each part, and for the part also they are hollow inside. I have tried to make it as lighter as possible. I have removed as more material as possible for this piece and for this piece. This is gonna be around 0.8 or 0.7 if I remember well, thickness of metal. And on the front, it is not made yet, because this is where I'm going to do is for achieving this effect that I was talking about before about the grass. I'm going to apply this kind of grass texture, but it is not going to be volumetric. It is not going to be work as a relief. So we are going to use another jewelry technique, is the engraving. So if I go, this is my favorite place when I need to find references or inspiration. If I engrave it in engraving jewelry, where this is, you have to use these tools when you are cutting the metal, when you are removing part of the metal. For example, it's very well known. You can see these beautiful patterns when everything is hand carved by hand to make this beautiful engraving work. And we are gonna, what I have in mind is to find a good engraver to create this kind of, you can see here, this is the texture. It's going to be made by hand instead of 3D printed and casted. The idea that I have now is for having a manual work on top for engraving this. More or less the similar brush that you have here inside of ZBrush to achieve something similar. I think you already know this brush, the chisel brush. Remember that when you are about to use this brush, it's very important to store the morph target first. So before start using this brush, so store your morph target. You are having different shapes of the, I closed it. Okay, of the tool. I mean, you can see here, this one is having this kind of something like this. It's more something like this. For example, this one is having something more like this. And for example, this one is having something like this. When you start carving, you're gonna have this profile when you are carving on the surface. So I think this one is gonna be the best choice for mimic what I'm looking for. I think instead of using the stamp, let's change from the stamp from freehand, and then you're gonna pay. I think that the resolution is not good enough. If I subdivide it, maybe I can, or even I can use the Sculpting Pro. Why I can, okay, this brush doesn't work with the Sculpting Pro. Maybe subdivide it like this, not that much, and then you're gonna be able to make it thinner. So you're gonna be able to make something like this. So just for showing to you what I have in mind is the engraver is gonna make something like this, engraving this kind of grass effect on the back. So it's gonna have this kind of lines cut on the surface. The reason why is they are not still there is because I need to give to the engraver a solid piece of metal, so the engraver is going to start cutting the necessary metal from the surface. So that's the reason why it is not, because now this is the piece that I'm doing now is the ready for 3D printing piece. It's going to be the manufacturing files. So because after, when I'm gonna try to recreate a good render, I'm gonna start trying to sculpt the surface and add imperfections to the surface to make the file for the rendering as more realistic as possible on the 3D render. But this is the file that I'm gonna use for send it to the 3D printer. Do you get feedback to 3D Jules? Sure. Sure, that's the reason why I'm here, just for sharing with you my knowledge or my experience and trying to help you as more as possible. Good question, Goldin. Depends. For example, if I go to the Panther, we keep turning on folders. For example, let me turn the gallery, and this is going to, so we go to the Panther, we turn this on. The Panther, if I remember well, the Panther is having subdivision level. Let me check. Yes, it is having subdivision levels. You can see it. I'm gonna turn this on. It has subdivision levels. The reason why I changed from Dynamesh to subdivision, when you are looking for a smoother surface or a sculpting, I think it's much better to use subdivision levels instead of Dynamesh. But for example, if we come back again to the when maybe the main answer to your question is, if I'm looking for clean shapes with clean corners, clean forms, I prefer to work with subdivision levels. Maybe I can start working with Dynamesh, but at some points I switch from Dynamesh to subdivision to start getting a smoother surface and cleaner volumes and shapes. But for example, if we go to the grass, you can see how it looks like. The grass, how it looks like, is completely composed by many different topologies, because I was not worried about for example, this one. Also, it's a mesh from mesh mixer, and this is it has subdivision levels, but it hasn't any subdivision. So I have many different kinds of meshes. If we said we are working with 49 now subtools, maybe some of them could be Dynamesh, some of them could be Dynamesh, some of them can be decimated meshes. I'm only focused about how they works as a jewelry piece and how they are going to be printed on a 3D printer. So I don't worry about the topology during the designer or during the creation process, because I never use with. Well, I used to work with UVs if I need to apply a texture on a surface, but I don't care about UVs. We are talking about textures, about colors and stuff like that. So the answer is, this jewelry is having subdivision levels and Dynamesh and many other things. On what platform can you share your work for feedback? You can send them. Okay, you can find me. You go to the chat. I just share with you my link tree, where you will find me on many different places. You can share directly with me, or maybe I think in my opinion, based from my opinion, the best place to start getting feedback is Facebook. I think it's where the people is more friendly for start writing comments or feedback, because Instagram is more for people who are just watching and scrolling. I think for Facebook it's better to find people who are giving to you feedback or opinions on stuff like that. I think, my opinion. So the Panther, so now we're on the Panther. We are having, this is the Panther. If I turn off now the cage, and if I turn off the gallery, if I turn off this, and I turn off as well the grass, this is going to be the Panther. The pieces of the Panther I'm going to send for printing is this. Of course, the eye, no, the eye is going to be, where's the eye? Where I am here. The eye is, except the eye, this is the pieces that I'm gonna send for printing for the Panther. So the Panther is gonna be assembled in two parts, the body and the tail and the head. Because if I turn this on, so I have turned this on, you can see the head, I'm sorry, the body, I'm going to be casted here, put it on top, and I'm sure I still need to create the keys male and female for having a good assembling of both parts. You can see now it is not already made, but I think the panther is not going to be soldered as the grass from the back. I think the panther, the idea that I have is casting the panther in resin, so the panther is going to be able to be glued. So it's not going to be, so I mean, they're not going to be metal against metal, so where we need to use a welding or soldering technique. In this case, we can apply a kind of epoxy glue for gluing the panther to the metal. But okay. And this is the idea that I have in mind. Of course, all of my ideas, and it's going to be necessary to be discussed with the jeweler or with the workshop, and maybe they are having another suggestion or another idea based on things that I am thinking, and maybe they are not able for being manufactured with ideas that I have now. Then the eye is going to be a custom stone, so this big. There are amazing people who are able to grab very small stones and making the shape, the necessary shape that you are looking for. So this is the thing. I think I need to make it flat on the back. I can use this like this. So I will send this as a reference for the stone carver. I think I don't know who is the name in English, but in Spanish, we call it lapidary. It's a guy who is specialized in carving stone for creating custom shapes. This is going to be a very small piece who is going to be put inside of the eye. A kind of white stone. I like to create designs who has sense in terms of manufacturers who are able for be manufactured if possible, not just designing without any reason, or creating designs without a specific reason. Okay, bro. No more questions. We can keep working on this, so we can turn this on. So we can start working on the panther, on the stone setting, because I have here, this is the bale. The bale is the part who is going to be retain, or the chain will go, or the cord is going to pass through this hole. The bale is going to be part of the cage. It's going to be printed and casted, so it will be something like this. You can see also the bale has the necessary shape for the ear of the panther, so this is going to be casted as one piece. So if I open this, this is I only have the stones as a reference, so I will send for printing this part. No, this I will send for printing this. Wait, I need to turn this on. So this one, right? Yeah. I will send for printing this. And you are watching this. This is going to be maybe we can call this the part number 1. The main body is going to be this for paper. I'm not with this. I forgot to turn on the bale. No, I'm not. Also not the gouache like this. I will send for printing this elements. And also we can start creating Boolean. Let's see how it works. Let's Boolean. I have been working dynamics of division, so it's going to be necessary to turn this on and start making Boolean mesh. So we're going to start. About to start creating the final file for 3D printing. Here I have 3 different Boolean faces. This one, and this one. Individually, I think it still has sense to make them individually. Maybe we are sure about 90%, as I said before, that this thing is going to be considered as final files. But if at some point I find any issue or any problem, maybe I have found one. Now you can see here I'm having this. I made a mistake here. Let me check why. If I come back to the original, maybe here I'm having something who is subtracting this. I think if I, yes, it's this one. This one, it should be a little bit bigger. Maybe I can grab this, move infinitive. It's gonna be necessary to push it up a little bit with the symmetry better. Where's my symmetry? Okay, the symmetry is working fine. So let's lift it a little bit to the sides as well, to the bottom. Need to be sure that it is symmetrical. And I think is the problem is solved. No, not yet, because here I'm having a little gap. You hear here. I think now it's good enough. Like this. Let's see from the front. It looks good. From the back, it looks good. Let's see. Let's save this last modification and make the Boolean again. Make Boolean mesh. And okay, looks now looks better than before. So I'm gonna save this. This is going to be the final, my final number 2. This is going to be like this, and we are gonna start creating the Boolean about the grass, for example. Instead of using these options at the bottom of the list of the subtool menu, you can click on the gear and only make the content of the folder. So clicking here on Boolean with dynamic subdivision, and we already have this piece. Maybe we can append it to this final. It's gonna be like this. Okay, and let's come back to the original. Maybe we already have the grass. Maybe we can apply the gallery. We can make the final Boolean for the gallery also. So repeating the same. I think here I didn't use dynamic subdivision. Let's see, Boolean folder. Sometimes you can have this message, error message. The Boolean operation cannot be performed because some input subtools are invalid. No, this is the problem that I'm having. So okay. Yeah, the problem. Okay, I know the problem. No. Okay. Sometimes most of the times that I have found, when you're having this error message, is because or you can solve it with selecting the subtool and closing holes. Close holes, select this another subtool, close holes, and this third subtools and close holes. And now you can try to repeat it. Boolean folder. And now this time we're gonna have success with this. Yes, it works. And this is what we have. This is gonna be the gallery. I will send this piece for printing. So let's attach it here, append here. So I have the gallery. I have now we need the anthem. Turn this on. Everything visible here. Unless the stone and panther Boolean with dynamic subdivision. Hi. How to check the weight inside of ZBrush? As at the moment, it is not possible. I will explain it to you. This is the panther. The reason why it looks so weird on the borders is because I'm having poly paint. If I turn this on, you can see nothing happens. Everything is okay. So let's append this. Let's append it here between the first and the second insert. And now here we have, and this is the, now we can work on the connection between each like this. Okay, so this is necessary to be safe. Okay, so a good question. Chandama Ramesh wrote on the chat, because the weight issue, or the method, the old method that we had before, maybe months ago, was this plugin Kitco Metal Quotes. When you are clicking on this, and ZBrush was able to give you a list of the different prices, the different volumes, and the different weights for different metals. But now we are having this error message: current prices for metal not found in the text file. This is because the way that this plugin works is the plugin is going to a website, to the Kitco website. The Kitco is you go to Kitco, let's see, like this. You go to Kitco here. This is where you can find the quotations or the values of the different metals according to the market at this moment. And the script of the plugin was go to the website and start gathering our collection, the necessary information for putting on a list inside of ZBrush. But now, for any reason, the people from Kitco changed the design of the website, and now the plugin isn't working anymore, because maybe it's a problem between inside of the code or inside of the I haven't got any knowledge about internet language or something like that, but there isn't something wrong with that. But then today we can't have this information inside of ZBrush. The only way that we can use now inside of ZBrush is going to transform and click here. You can see here, you will find here this button, analyze, select the subtool, and ZBrush will ask you, please select the closest size and units of measurement for the subtool. Most of the time, I say all of the times, maybe we are going to work in millimeters, so we are working with jewelry. So now this is the current measurements of the selected subtool. In this case is the cage. This is 31.34 by 37.46 by 8.15 millimeter. If I click on millimeter, ZBrush will give us the volume. And here the volume is non-accepted, because ZBrush is finding that for any reason this subtool is not watertight. You can see here, subtool is not watertight. This is going to be very important, because the subtool is not watertight. ZBrush is not able to give us the volume. That is the value that we need for calculate the weight. This is here, this one. So let's cancel. Most of the time, the way to fix this is again going to the close holes. You can go to geometry. Where I am, I'm going to show you the path of the bottom. Geometry, modify topology, and close hole. Here, you close holes. You can try it again. Transform, analyze, select the subtool, millimeters, and now you can see now the mesh is water type, and ZBrush is able to read the volume. The volume is, let me use the calculator. Here is my calculator. It is 2.0 it is 2.1x6. Let's close this. Milliliters on cubic centimeters. And you need to multiply this. If we are, I think we are about to calculate the weight in gold is by 0.05. I think. If I remember well, let me try. I don't know. I need to check it out. I never remember this operation. I know it is 2 point. If we remove, the point is 2.1. It's like this. You need to remove this if I wrote it wrong and multiply it by 0.05. No, this is also wrong because it hasn't sense. I think it's 0.0 because the idea is to multiply the value by the density of the metal. Maybe I am remembering bad the density of the gold. It is not 0.05, maybe 0.005 could be, for having something that it has more sense. 0.005. Maybe it could be this, but I will need to check it. But the idea behind this is you need, having the volume, you need to multiply this value by the density of the metal that you need, what you are looking for, and then you will have the weight. I think it has more sense, but 0.005. This is related to gold. I think you are looking for silver is 2 by 0.0010. No, it's 0.10 maybe 0.0. Something like this, 21 grams of silver. I think it's something like this, but I'm not sure. So I'm not good at maths. you can see it, but the only thing that we can do today is find the volume of the piece and multiply by the density of the metal to have the weight. So having the volume, having the density, you will have the weight. And this is the operation. I will try to check it again, and I will try to post it or have it more clear in the next streaming. I'm sorry. Okay, this is the one piece. You can see now it is composed by a mix of many different meshes. But and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to apply Tony. Welcome. Thank you. Gracias, Tony. Nunca me acuerdo. I am talking with Tony. You can see already post a comment on the chat because he is my friend, the friend who gave me this information, and I never remember it well. He is saying that it's multiplying for silver 0.01 and for gold 0.015. Let me check it again. Gracias otra vez, Tony. Siempre me pasa igual. Okay, so coming back again to the transform, analyze here, and we have, let's use the calculator again. Tony, you are saving me as usual. And the 2186 by 0.015, and this is the weight of this piece. This is 32.79 grams of gold of this piece. If we multiply it by the price around, we can say that we are having a little 37 millimeter tall piece of gold, with its cost is going to be around, I'm talking about euros here in Europe, and we're talking about 100,000 and 700 euros. This is very expensive. Probably we're going to change our mind. It's going to be better to cast it in silver and apply a gold plated, but it's just for showing to you how important the weight and the sizes is going to be in jewelry. Of course, if we are talking about high-end jewelry, this price is not going to be very big, but for a humble person like me, or for most of you, this goes for just this part of the. But this is the only one part, because you need to add more parts like the grass and so on. So this is going to be a very expensive, very expensive. But let me try multiply it by silver, and maybe we can cast this in silver. We can cast these pieces in silver as well, or only this in silver, in gold. Let me check if ZBrush is able to read this. Millimeter. It is not watertight. Let's see. Maybe this could be problematic because you can see we have two volumes floating, so they are not connected. So let's see. If I use the close holes, let's see how intelligent ZBrush is. So transform, analyze, millimeter, not watertight. Yes, that's the reason why ZBrush is not able to read the volume, is because they are not connected. So it's going to be necessary to split them. If I mask one and split mask points, let me check first the bigger one. So now we can go to transform, analyze, millimeter. It is watertight, is 0.1. You can see the difference. It is around 1 point. This is going to be possible to cast only these pieces in gold and cast the rest of the design in silver, and we can apply gold plated. White gold is necessary to add more value to the thing. Even this, I think, let's see how weight is this. You gotta go transform, analyze, millimeter. This is watertight. This is let me calculate it. By 0.015. Okay, this is 7 grams of gold, maybe. Yeah, we can pass this in gold, but for the whole piece, it's gonna be a little bit heavy, I think. Even we still need to care on the surface to apply the stone setting, because we're gonna remove portion of the material on the corners and on the necklace here. So it is not going to be as heavy as it is now, but we're gonna save a very small amount of gold. So maybe we're gonna cast this in silver instead of gold. So has more sense. But if you have money, go ahead, use gold. Okay. So we can, I'm gonna apply some keys here. I'm gonna use the square. This is square. I'm gonna show you insert cube. I'm gonna apply a little pin here, little cube. Let's split mask points. This is 2 millimeter wide, I think. This is scale master, set the scene scale on 1.2. Let make it bigger. I don't want to change all of the subtool. I only want to change the selected subtool. Pay attention to this button. So 2 millimeter precise subtool. This is now, it's a little bit bigger. I need this. So let's change the shape using the taper with the cone here at its minimum. So let me make this. I'm gonna create a key, male, female key, like this, and maybe we're gonna take a copy. Let's see how big is this. Now it's bigger than 2 millimeter. Let make it smaller, like this. And let's create a copy, control move, so we can apply another key here and another key here, maybe here. So this is going to be the positive, or the male copies, and let's duplicate it. I'm gonna put this on top. Let's put the panther on top as well. Let's hide this. And you can see I choose the wrong placement. Let me delete this one of them, because now I have 2 copies. Let me delete one. And let's move it here. Oh, no, only you. Put it here. like this. And now we can duplicate it. And now we're going to use this one as a negative, as a subtraction. But we're going to need a little bit tolerance between the gap and the positive between the female and the male. So as easy as control and start inflating for creating the necessary tolerance between the two positive, the two things. So the panther is going to be something more, something like this. Okay, so the panther will be printed like this, and this is going to be part of this. Let's merge down. So this is going to be part of this block like this. No, yes, like this. Yeah, we already have the keys. So let's start creating the stone setting up here. So we are gonna, for that, let's start with the koya of the panther. Yeah, no more comments, no more questions. Okay, and I made this custom brush. This is the brush that I am using for when I need to create a stone setting. You can see this is the custom brush that I made some time ago. I think I explained it on some of my previous streaming how to do it. It's gonna be very easy to create, and you will need this external plugin. You will find it inside of the plugin website from Maxon. You will find this plugin, IMM Draw Size, where you can use this plugin to control the size of your insert brushes. And for this brush is going to be very, very important. If I remember well, okay, let me check it twice. So the first thing to know is which is the necessary space. So we have from here, we have a space of 2.2 millimeter from this surface to this surface. Maybe we are going to be able to set 1.5 millimeters stones. Let's see how they work. If we go to the IMM Draw Size plugin, if we type here 1.5 and click on the set IMM Draw Size, when we start growing our insert brush and we press the control key, we are gonna block it to 1.5 millimeter. So we are setting now 1.5 millimeter stones seats or spaces. So next, a previous step to take is to control the depth, because now you can see the mess is laying on the surface. We want it deeper on the surface to making the cutter on the surface. Maybe for that we need to control this graphic. Maybe we can make it maybe a bit deeper like this, and now we can start putting. Maybe we can make it bigger. No, I think like this is gonna be enough, because let me check the distance between the border and the stone. Here we have 0.5 millimeter, half of a millimeter. I think it's gonna be enough. It's not gonna, because even don't have going till exactly till the border, so we're having 0.3 millimeters or 0.4, almost 0.4 millimeters. We're gonna need enough metal to work with. I think like this is going to be enough. So we have one stone placed, so we need to split mass points like this, and now we can control start putting. Okay, before doing that we can turn this on. Where's the panther? The panther. Okay, we need to put this underneath this, like this. We are gonna start watching this. I think like this. We don't like the placement. Before start adding more stones, we can change the position. We are gonna start changing this. Okay, we will. This is the process. But I am noticing now that I am making something wrong because I don't like this way of make the stone setting, because if I forgot to create an extra step where we have the surface, so we will put the stone here, so we'll be here on the surface like this, and will be necessary to add the prongs on the side, so we will start adding prongs here for grabbing, putting the stones in place, for holding the stones in place. So, but I prefer, instead of this method, I like to create a channel where the stone is inside. Of course, it goes inside here, and we will put the prongs here. So the surface of the stone will not be raised, so will be inside of a channel. I prefer this way of the finishing of this. I think it's going to be nicer than this method. This is just personal preferences, but when we are talking about the stone setting, the best decision is talk with the stone setter, with the real professional, and try to request or to ask for some advice or opinion to try to know which is the best option. Another option that we can have, because I'm still not sure about what I'm going to do with this, and let me delete this because I'm not happy. Maybe we can apply, instead of not this cut, but instead of for where I am here, instead of round, maybe square stones. I don't know. Let's see. I think the round ones, the round diamond cut, is gonna be easier to set, but maybe it could look nice with square marquee stones. Hi, when I give more dynamics resolution, the model at once, the model broken half part. Yes, maybe you are having this problem. Color stars, maybe the problem that you are having. Let me see if I am understanding you well, your question. The problems that you are having with the dynamic, for example, when you are having this and you turn on the dynamic resolution, go into geometry, dynamic, you are having something like this with the object or the model becomes softer because you have applied the dynamic subdivision, but you start getting this kind of weird effects. For example, even if you have not so regular shapes, you're having something like this. If you apply the dynamic subdivision, you will get, I think you are referring to this problem, right? Maybe. If you are having this problem, is because you need to crease the edges to try to don't destroy, or because you are not really destroying the model, because the dynamic subdivision system is works like a rendering system. You are not modifying the topology, you are rendering how the mesh looks like with the new dynamic subdivision. Maybe the best choice for this is, first of all, group by normal. So ZBrush will apply a different polygroup for each normal. If I creased the polygroups, that means that I can crease the edges, the borders between two different polygroups. If I turn on now my dynamic subdivision, you can see the object looks perfect instead of broken or like you said before. If you are about to apply dynamic subdivision, I recommend you to crease the border first. That is the solution of your problem. Tornike my half part deleted. Half part deleted. I don't know what you mean. Color stars then. For example, when you are having this, you're having the half part. I'm sorry. The message is open, it is not closed. You turn on the dynamic increased. If I, for example, delete hidden and dynamic, I don't know, I think that time my model count 5 million. I don't. Okay, well, yeah, maybe, maybe another advice, and this is very important. If you're about to work with dynamic subdivisions, the dynamic subdivision has sense if you are working with low poly models. So if you are working with millions of polygons, don't use dynamic subdivision. Never, never, never. So this is the dynamic subdivision is very useful when you are working with a very low poly count on your mesh. When you stop subdividing, what, for example, even if you are reaching almost 1 million, if you start working with dynamic subdivision, you can have problems with not only with the mesh, only with your computer and with the software, because the software is not able to handle so many calculations on your mesh. Yes. So dynamic subdivision is only for low poly count. When you are working at the very beginning of your modeling process, if you are working with a sculpting surface with millions of polygons, I recommend you to never use dynamic subdivision. And the question about tornike before, yes, it is for stone safety. Yes, because the stones, it's below the surface. They are below, so they are. You can scrub it, you can scratch it, and for many reasons. To where I'm here, so I will need to apply the channel first. So for creating the channel, you can use different ways. But my preference, my favorite way is using this brush, the topology brush, when you're gonna start painting topology or drawing topology. Here, the channel will go till here, for example, and to here, and then you're gonna start crossing lines, and you will start creating polygons. Not yet, but just start drawing polygons or drawing topology like this. Once you are happy with your drawing, with your new topology, you tap on the surface and you will get a new piece of geometry where you can split it with the split mask point as option. So I split the mask points. And this is going to be the part that I'm going to use as a negative. If I turn this on, you can see I'm gonna start creating the necessary channel. Another good thing about this is because you can see the mesh is composed by different polygroups. If I see, for example, that my channel is not deep enough, I can use the C modeler. So QMesh, polygroup all, we can make it thicker at the bottom. So I will get this option. And now talking about the same thing we were talking about before about the dynamic subdivision. Let me adjust this first. We can put it closer using a mask, because let's put it closer to the border like this. Like this. So this is a good example for using dynamic subdivision. Let me fix this first. And this is a very good example. First of all, we can groups binomials, crease polygroups, and now we can turn on dynamic subdivision. And now we will get this. So we are still working with the same amount. You can see if I turn this on and turn this off, you can see the active points doesn't change, because we are still using with the same amount of polygons. Even if we're looking for a smoother surface, we are going to apply one extra subdivision level, and even more till the fourth. We are seeing a very smooth surface, but we are not working with real subdivision. We are rendering the subdivision, and for this is going to work very well like this. Okay, let's see if we are right with the depth. We can come back again, grabbing the hem cutter again. We can, in this case, I'm gonna use this without symmetry, split mask points. This one should be below here and positive, and we can maybe it's too deep the channel. We decide to make maybe it's gonna be more something like this. So the depth we decided before maybe is too depth. Maybe to fix it we can apply a mask to the bottom part, and we can lift it up a little bit. Still having this shape. And I think like this is gonna be much better. And the stone, oh, it is stone thing. I will put it, I think like there is good enough, like this. And if I turn this on, it's okay, I think will be better. Like this, it should be a little bit deeper there. I think like this is going to be good. So we're gonna start applying more the new stone. So using this, so I think like this now it's gonna be able to start applying the row of stones we need for the collar till there. Okay, something like this. Yeah, I think it's good enough. Okay, let's now start adding the prongs. I also have a custom brush I made by myself. This one, that's just a simple where I'm gonna be able to, by default I have it set it with the curve mode when I can apply things like that, but I don't want to use it as a curve. I need to disable the curve mode option, go into a stroke, curve, and turn this off. So now I'm able to with the drag rectangle with the start, and the sizes for the prongs they will be, and I prefer to set them up to 0.7 millimeter. So I'll be able to make this size of the prong. Will be necessary to make them deeper in the surface, like this. Maybe if I paint in here, if I paint here, you can see if I try to put a prong here, it doesn't work because they is being affected by this subtraction. If I turn this off, make it, you can see you are applying the prong, but here is being affected by this. So maybe what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn this off. If I'm gonna start placing again here. Oh, come on. No, here. Now yes, like this. Maybe not so deep, a little bit taller. I have here, let's split mass points. I prefer to get them as an individual separated subtool. So now I'm gonna be able to start putting the prongs, I'm sorry. So before going to the next, if we want to check, we can use the gizmo to change the orientation and to start adjusting the angle on the surface, like this, like this, like this, and like this. Okay, they are good enough. The good thing about using working with live booleans is because we are not creating the real subtraction yet. So you can see here I need a little bit more room, more space between the prongs and the border of the channel. What I can do is I'm gonna start fixing this. I can start fixing this, and I am worried about something maybe closer to the border, but not so close. Okay, something like this. And this maybe the prongs needs to be here on top of the cutters. Okay, for having more something like this. Okay, but not that much. I think they should be as before. So this is what we have so far on the. I think it's good enough. Maybe we can, what I can do now, and I don't like it, is for having this so square 90%, 90 degrees corners. You know what happens today with the music. So what I can do is I can apply another H here, almost in the middle. Let's add two H's, one here, another one here. And now we can extrude this. No, only one in the middle. Here. And now make it more something like this. A little bit more rounded, not so 90 degrees angle. Like this. Kinda looks better now. And the last step to take, when we are gonna need the stones. Just the stones are just for the rendering, because I need the stones just for being rendered on the render. So this is the trick or the system of my brush. You can see here all of the cutters or all of the messes. They are composed by two elements: the cutter itself and little templates on top. If I go to the splitting options and split to similar parts, I will get the templates and the cutters as a different. If I now, you can see here where templates are. If I'm going to use these templates with NanoMesh to apply one stone into each space. So let me save this first. This is going to be number 2. I need the stone first. I have here my toolbox. Here I have a stone here. Diamond cut. I have this. If I come back here, if I go to see modular, if I say I want to insert an NanoMesh to all polygons, which mesh? If I press the M, here I can find the stone. I just open it and I can apply stones all at once. If I now go to the NanoMesh settings, I can start changing with the size, changing with the depth. In the depth is going to be the offset. This is going to be this side, this value. Let's make them bigger. Let's make change the depth because they are too deep. They are too big now. We can change them, and they are going to be something like this. Depth. 0.4 minus 0.4, no, minus 0.5, minus 0.6, yes, maybe minus 0.7, no, minus 0.65, like this. Once you're happy with the placement, because the nanomesh also works with like a rendering mode. We are not really handling or controlling the real polygons. It's like we are rendering different values for different parameters. So once we are happy with all of the value, we need to convert this into a real polygons. The way that I like to use it is convert the BBR, the rendering, to real geometry, to geometry. And now you can see now the nanomesh is not available anymore because they are real polygons now. And now they still have templates on the stones that using the same process as before, split to similar parts. Now I have this. And now, for example, I can change the material for this. Maybe I can apply this material, RGB field object, and now we have the stones applied to the surface like this. Okay, so I think we are almost done with this. Tonight, can I ask you why don't you make your own jewel? Yeah, it's a good question. I have been thinking about it sometimes. Why I'm not creating my own jewelry, but maybe the the answer is I will try to find a good answer, because the answer is when you are about to create your own jewelry lines, it's like you're about to create your own products. It's not just creating cool designs, so it's going to be necessary to be manufactured. And when we talk about the jewelry in jewelry industry, we have involved many different processes, professionals, and they are very complicated for being manufactured in terms of not only in terms of money, but in terms of times, and even the way to commercialize the product that you sell. It's a huge problem for having a jewelry brand only managing by only one person, of course. And at the end, it's much better for me for working for more people around the world, making many different kinds of jewelry instead of creating my own jewelry line or my jewelry product, I think, because I enjoy more the artistical process, what I did, the sculpting process or the creation process, instead of the controlling the manufacturing processes, the people who are involved on the different manufacturing process, the delivery times, the way to control the shop, many different headaches. So I prefer only to be focused on art instead of selling or making business with jewelry. Nacho, in your experience, what would be correct position of the prongs regard to the stone for production? Talking about not to be too far or too much inside of the stone. That is a good question, and the answer is depends on the people or the person who is going to set the stone or who is going to finish the piece. I have found that some of them prefer when you are having the stone, because there isn't any one good answer or main answer, depending on the person, sometimes depends on the design as well, because when you are having the surface, you are having the stone here, you're having the stone set inside of the surface, and you're having the prongs. Some people likes to have the prongs here or even here, because they like to grind and to remove the unwanted material and to push the stone inside and make the stone setting very tight inside of the prongs. Depend on the size of because when we are talking about big stones, maybe you can do this, but when you are talking about very small prongs, maybe here we are talking about half of a millimeter or even less than half of a millimeter. So in some cases it's very difficult to only remove the necessary part of the material. So it's much better to have them maybe a little bit far away from the stones, and instead of removing the necessary metal to hold the stone inside, it's better to have the prong a little bit not so close here, and bend the stone against the stone, or holding the stone in place. Depends on the system. I don't know. I think it's hard to know. Depend to say only one single answer. Maybe this is one of the part that I like more about jewelry, because it's very challenging. You will need to find solution for a specific problem instead of apply a main rule for everything. I think it's difficult to find only one answer, but it's good to have the tolerances. For example, here in my example, if I zoom in, this is where the people says, or the jeweler says, that the stone is biting the prong is biting the stone. That means that the stone is going here inside. So you need to remove a little bit of the metal to put the stone inside. In this case, it is not able to bend the stones, the prongs against the stones, because only one prong is shared by two stones. So it is not possible to bend it to one side or to the other side. In this case, it will be necessary to add two prongs for bend them each one to the right direction. In this case, it will be better to have a little bit of tolerance here for removing the necessary amount of material and put the stone inside, and it's still able to hold the stone in place. But there are many different scenarios or possibilities for having this. Depends. It depends. Always depends when we talk about jewelry. Saki Santra share some grayscale image made in nanotile textile plugin. What do you mean? The process? Are you talking about the process with the nanotile textile plugin? Or what do you need about the grayscale? How to create the grayscale? Are you asking about how to create the process for getting a grayscale image? Let me know. I will answer to you. Okay, let's frame. And we need to create the channel on the corners. Maybe we can create one. This is the reason why I love to use this topology brush, because I can directly draw the channels or the necessary spaces that I need. For example, here you can start painting, drawing. I'm always say paint instead of draw. I think it has more sense to say drawing instead of painting. So something like this. Now I can cross this. Now I start crossing. Maybe you can cross this here. Like this. Don't worry if your lines, they are not completely straight or perfect, because you can move them and fix them once you have the polygons like this. Maybe I'm having a problem here in this corner. You want to remove any line, press the Alt key and cross it. You will fix this, then thing will be better. You can see you want to remove this line, Alt and cross it, and cross, and then you will remove the line that doesn't work. So tape. Now I can split mask points, and now I can fix it. Now here, what I did before was one technique to control the thickness or the depth. I am thinking now that I made it wrong. I will try to explain to you the better. Don't use the previous method. So try to use this method instead of the previous method, because it's more effective. So when you are having this, it already has thickness. It's better to Control Shift and tap on this surface and remove, delete hidden, the other faces. And now it's easier to control or to fix the lines which are not straight. You can control them better because you are not worried about the other part of the geometry. So you are just managing the surface without thickness, for example, like this. Like this, maybe this is a little bit like this, and maybe like this. And now the best way to do this, like this, because it is not symmetrical. It's not. It is more something. It is more something like this. You can now start using the dynamics of the vision. Don't apply any smoothing, so smooth subtotals to 0, and now you can start applying thickness. Thickness. And now with the thickness, you can control the offset. This is very useful in many cases. You can decide to which side you want to grow the thickness. So in this case, it's going to be to the -100 here, to the surface. If I turn this on, the negative, it should be here. So I can control, it's very easy to control the thickness, because the thickness is not being applied yet. You can apply more thickness, less thickness, more thickness, less thickness. When you are happy with the thickness, you apply and you will get it perfect. Instead of we were doing before, making a mask just for moving the surface that we want to move, or make it depth deeper or not. So it's much better to control the depth with this. I think with this is much useful. And thing in this case is very, for example, if we are looking for less dip, so I remove what, like this, something. Let's try with something like this, and it's going to be much useful for having only one surface and apply the thickness with the dynamics of the vision. In this case is going to be much better, and I'm going to fix this what I did before with the collar here. So I have this. I'm going to Control Shift Tab. I'm going to delete hidden, and then I'm going to apply the dynamics of the vision without the smoothing. Well, let's apply the smooth of 2, and then start adding some thickness, -100. And then you can see you can control how depth you want to go with the thickness. Oh, that's too much. What's too much? Like this. Like maybe less. Yeah, maybe something like this. So the stones, maybe it's going to be something like this. So it's going to be much better to have under control the thickness with the dynamics of the vision. You want to know how depth is this. It's as easy as with the transpose line to start getting the distance between the upper point and the lower point. Here we have 0.3 millimeter depth. Maybe it's not very realistic. Maybe it needs to be a little bit more. Like this it is 0.4 millimeter, almost 0.5 millimeter. I'm reading 0.46. I'm reading on my top left corner. If I'm reading value here on my top left corner here. You can see here you are grabbing a distance. ZBrush will tell you here the distance value. Now it is 0.437 millimeter. Maybe we can say below 0.5 millimeter, but more than 0.3 millimeter. I think it's good enough. I think in the screen looks maybe too deep, but in reality we are talking about a realistic thickness. If I turn off my stones, yeah, the stones are good enough. It will be something like this. And the distance that I have from the channel till the border, I have 0.3 millimeter. I think it's good enough. So it's realistic. Let's come back to here. Let's grab the hems, I think. Maybe here we can set 2 millimeters of stone instead of 1.5. If we go 2 millimeters, if I 2 millimeters, let's say, maybe they are too big. Yes, maybe they are going to be too big. Maybe the supplier is having 1.8, 1.7, but because if we are not sure, let's try to find as more standard sizes as possible, 1.5. And 1.5 is going to be, I think like this is going to be, So where I am, this needs to be like this, and it needs to be like this. What? I did something strange here. Oh yeah, I know. Because I have the dynamics of the vision applied, so it needs to be deeper like this. In this case, it's gonna be easier than before because we're gonna apply another process. Maybe the depth is not. I'm gonna reduce the depth of this. Gonna be more or something like this, because we select the right orientation like this. We control with this, not with this up to. I need to select this one. You select the right direction, control, drag, and you follow. You can start applying a row with the same distance between each copy. Thing like this is gonna be, but you can see then the distance is not good enough. The orientation needs to be more like this. Control, move, and now then you can release your finger from the control key, but you keep moving. You will have this. Now it's as easy as change the orientation as gonna be. We can fix this very easily moving with the gizmo. So we will have this. Okay. I remember having found your project Nacho Riesco on the internet. It looks very interesting. It was just talking about selling your jewelry pieces. I don't know, Fexter, what are you talking about? Because if I remember well, my project Nacho Riesco Metal was related to key shot materials. I know, as far as I know. Maybe you have found something different. I don't know if it was a test talking about selling your jewelry pieces. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, but are you referring to another live stream where I was talking about it? But yes, yeah, jewelry business is very painful, I think. And even if you are looking for creating very unique and high-end jewelry pieces, because you need to know a lot of people, and not only and a lot of good professionals. I think that's the right sentence. A lot of good professionals and good times with good professionalism. Then sometimes it's very easy to find professionals. Okay, hi Deepak, welcome. What do you mean with prep artist? Prep or prop? Prep. I don't know what prep means. Okay, this is what we have so far. Then, as I said before, the piece is almost finished. I call it finished about new streamings. In my next stream, it will happen in September, and I will start thinking about a completely different design. If you have any questions, leave your comments on the comment box, and I will consider them just for having an interesting live stream for you. So because I have been making rings, pendants, brooches, and maybe this design took a bit more time than expected because it has a lot of different operation, many different parts for being assembled. So maybe it took, and even I need still to make the rendering file. I will try to enjoy as more as I can the rendering process. I will post it on the internet. Yeah, the control shortcut is very useful. Really, my lord, I messed it up. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But let me know. You were thinking about completely different thing, because I'm very interested about this thinking about to sell or not to sell jewelry pieces, or your own jewelry pieces. The next stream is gonna happen, I will think about a new day in September, maybe at the middle of September, maybe middle of end of September, maybe the third week of September, maybe the week of the 16th, maybe the Thursday 19th. It could be a good day for my next stream, and I will think till then on a new jewelry design, maybe a completely different thing, because I have been making, as I said before, you go to my YouTube channel, you can find the collection here under the ZBrush Live Streams playlist. You can see I made my first streaming 3 years ago. Time flies. And I started making this pendant. Then I made a snake pendant. I sculpted a coin relief, a scroll band ring with a scroll with Baroque elements. I don't know, this one. I think I was making what I did here. I was explaining how to make ribbons and rivets for, and then I was making different rings, even the Star Wars theme rings. This is a brooch, an octopus brooch. This is a brooch that I enjoy to make a lot. I'm very happy with the result of this one. This is a brooch based on a Victorian design. And let's see. Sometimes it's difficult to innovate, to make new things, or completely new things. Maybe everything is based on the same rules, but maybe I don't know what I can do on my next streaming. Maybe start talking about more reliefs. I know. Let's see. I think we are done for today. We are done. So I will start working on prepare this file for final file for 3D printing, and start making the version for the 3D rendering. No, it doesn't. It is not really important, the poly count, when I'm sculpting jewelry. It is not really important. Of course, for example, if you are creating a very complicated jewelry design with hundreds of subtools, maybe it's a good choice to be worried about the poly count, because if not, you're going to have a huge amount of polygons on only one tool. But in terms of finishing or workflows, in my case, I don't care about the poly count. Of course, I try, for example, if I need to sculpt organical shapes like this one, like the panther, I need to stay below 2 millions, maybe 3 millions, or maybe I can say maybe 5 million could be the maximum poly count that I manage. When we talk about dynamis, or when we talk about subdivisions. If we talk about subdivisions, for example, with a good application of a texture on a surface, for example, very tiny scales or very tiny or precise surface texture, maybe we can talk about 5 millions. But we are talking about just the sculpting forms and shapes. I always try to stay below 3 millions. When, for example, what means for me high resolution sculpting, when I convert any mesh into a dynamis for sculpting fine details on the surface, maybe 2.5 million. It's gonna be it's enough for me. I don't used to work with with a lot of millions of my designs. Will you 3D print it, or you just sell both? I will try to print this design. Yes, I always try to print my design just for testing what I'm doing on the screen. If I am using the proper thicknesses or distances or measurements in terms of they works when you cast them. And I like to create 3D. I like to 3D print my own designs, but also I sell my designs, or even more than selling my designs, I try to sell my sculpting skills for future commission to other clients. But I don't put, for example, if I finish this, I never put it on sale this design. I just make a render and just post it on the internet, and I'm trying to sell my skills as digital sculptor, but I don't sell the design inside. I send it for printing, but not for selling. Thanks to you, Fexter, for being here at all of my streamings. I'm very glad that you are here with me during the whole streaming. And I guess that you dynamize it all together in order to merge all the pieces. No, I used Boolean, not Dynamics, that I did before. I always use the Boolean system instead of Dynamics. The Dynamics Boolean system is when the Dynamics is part of the sculpting process, when you start from one form and you are arriving to the final form, and during the journey you need to apply more elements to the sculpture. So during that process you can use the dynamics to merge things together. But when we talk about this, when you are looking for a precise and clean unions or subtractions, I recommend to you to use the light Boolean instead of dynamics. And I guess that you dynamize it all together in order to merge all the pieces. Now, for example, in this design, this piece is going to be 1. Let me show you. This piece is going to be 1. I will send this as you are looking at the screen now, of course, with all of the stone settings on all of the corners. We call this will be one part. This will be another part. This part will be covered, the back side. This will be another part. This will be another part. I think this design will be composed by, let me count. There's the panther. Okay, the panther is composed by 2 parts, the head and the body. We have 2. We have this, the whole cage, so the main body, 3 parts. The 2 pieces, gold pieces for the grass. For the grass, we have 5, 6 parts, and the gallery or the back cover, the 7. This design is composed by 7 different printable pieces, which will be necessary to be assembled, casted separately, and assembled manually. Thank you, Extianor. Thank you very much. Maybe I think today I'm not sure if another streaming is coming behind me or not. If not, because I really enjoy here talking with you. Or if you have more questions or comments, because today we have been we are people watching. It's strange because today we have more people on Twitch than on YouTube, but I'm happy with your company because we have a lot of watchers. So you know that you're already going to have available this live, the recording after on the Maxon ZBrush YouTube channel or Twitch channel, so you can revise it if you want, and you can send comments, questions on the comment box if you want. If you have doubts about something I did, or if you are interested on knowing anything else, and I will be here with you next month. Okay, so I will keep working on this. for a bit more time, and soon, I hope soon, you will be able to see the final piece post on ZBrush Central and on my social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, and so on. Okay, so thank you everybody. See you next month. Bye.